Man, this original movie came out so long ago, but let's see if this sequel still holds up to it. My name is Brandon Keith Avery, and this is just my opinion. Hey, what's going on, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Just My Opinion for my Hocus Pocus 2 review. And if this is your first time finding me and you happen to like the video, please give me that thumbs up and consider subscribing. All right, guys, so now we have Hocus Pocus 2, and I will say when this film was first announced, as far as my expectations are concerned, it was something that I was looking forward to. When the news dropped, I did cover it on my channel. That was over a year ago. Yes, Hocus Pocus 2 is confirmed for 2022 with original cast. And so I was all over this when it was first announced, and I was looking forward to it. Of course, I have seen the original film that came out in 1993. I saw it a number of years ago when it first came out when I was young, and I've seen it a number of times since I was a teenager, a young adult, and I always remember having a good time. I mean, even today in 2022, if somebody was much younger, that, you know, this film is before them, they would, hey, you know that Hocus Pocus movie that came out in 93 with Sarah Jessica Parker, is it any good? I'll be like, yes, it was good. I don't really remember much of it right now, but I do remember the movie being pretty good and enjoying myself, and I think you will too. It was directed by Mr. Kenny Ortega, and if you look at his filmography, it is pretty lengthy. The man has over 56 directing credits, and please head over to the site if you would like to see these yourself. But the sequel right here, Hocus Pocus 2, is not being directed by Kenny Ortega. It is being directed by Miss Anne Fletcher. And I necessarily cannot say that I'm a fan of this woman, but hey, I wish her the best. If you look at her filmography, I am familiar with a few of her titles. Step Up was a movie that I did like, even with all the sequels. That was pretty good, but 27 Dresses I did not see. The Proposal, Guilt Trip, and Hot Pursuit. I did not see The Guilt Trip or The Proposal, but I did see Hot Pursuit, and that movie really didn't work for me. I looked it up before I hit record, and I gave that movie a 4 out of 10, but hey, maybe you liked it. If you did, let me know in the comment section. But I would be lying to you if I said I was excited about this movie because of the director, and that just would not be the truth. But I don't mean to throw any shade on this woman. However, we do have the whole original cast that is back, as you can see right here. And I had pretty high hopes for this. I mean, my expectations weren't through the roof, but it was something that I was looking forward to initially, and I was really wanting to have a good time. But before I get into all the nitty gritty, before I talk about all my likes and dislikes, let me tell you exactly what this film is all about. 3 young women accidentally bring back the Sanderson sisters to modern-day Salem and must figure out how to stop the child-hungry witches from wreaking havoc on the world. The world may have been free of Winifred, Mary, and Sarah, and the fear they invoked in all of us, but what happened when you mess with magic, it messes back. Now, guys, I will be honest with you. While I do remember having fun with the first movie, I don't remember much about it as far as the plot is concerned, other than the Sanderson sisters, which I just read, and they were trying to wreak havoc. I cannot tell you a beat by beat of the story. But the first thing that I did like about this movie is, like I said, the original cast is back. Now, this movie does come in at about 1 hour and 44 minutes with the credits, and that's not too long. But I did say to myself, man, when is the Sanderson sisters going to pop up? And they did right around a 30-minute mark or right before that in this movie. And when they did pop up on screen, that was a highlight for the film. There are a couple of performances in this film as well, performed by the Sanderson sisters, and I did like that. That was quite fun too. And I also do like the costumes. Mr. Salvador Perez Jr. did a great job of bringing the Sanderson sisters to life with a wardrobe that was a standout to me, and I did notice it quite well. And good or bad, every character in this movie is committed to their role. I mean, they are die-hard, focused in, laser precision, trying to give you the best performance that they can. Whether or not if you like it, that's up to you, but that's what we're going to be talking about next. So that's going to conclude everything that I did care about the movie, but now let me transition to some things that really did not work for me. The first being the visual effects. Now, when they were shooting lasers out of their fingers or the earth was opening up because they did some type of spell, that was fine. However, when they were flying in the air, that did look horrible. It looked like the budget was about $50. I do not understand why it looks so bad. from my memory, if it does serve me correctly, when they was doing these type of effects in the original film in 1993, of course, it possibly did not look photorealistic back then. But off the top of my head, it still looked better than this right here. This is a huge step down with the budget department, and I didn't even have to look that up to verify that. I'm just confident in saying it. But hey, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I am confident in saying that the budget was just not there, because it did not look realistic at all when these witches were flying in the air, and it did stand out in a bad way. Another thing that I did not like is this movie is not funny at all. I did not laugh one time watching this whole entire movie, and that is not hyperbole, guys. I am not exaggerating. This film is being described as a family drama comedy, and there was nothing funny in this movie. Unfortunately, it was quite dull at a number of times. I also feel like this film was more for children than adults. Now, of course, you're like, Brandon, this is Hocus Pocus. I mean, come on. But I do remember it had adult themes and things that children would enjoy, and also adults in the first film, and I did not find that anywhere in this film, unfortunately. And also, guys, the magic is just gone from this movie that was there in the first film. I mean, the first original film that came out in '93, there was just something very special, genuine, and unique about it that no other director or no other picture has done before. I don't know why, but it's a cult classic. I mean, the film is just still popular today, but that aura, that vibe is just absent from this film. And I don't know what it is, if it has to do with the direction from Ann Fletcher and the original Kenny Ortega did not come back, but it is just not the same feeling as the first film. And that is at its downfall. There was also an origin story at the beginning of this film, and I thought it was completely unnecessary. I mean, I understand what they was trying to do, but that could have been time that was shaved off, making this film not that long, and it is at 1 hour and 44 minutes. But some of the characters in that original origin scene was just really grinding my gears with their overacting. Earlier, I said that these characters are truly committed to their role, good or bad, and this has to do with the bad. Seeing Winifred's character as a young girl walking around with the buck teeth, like, it's just too extra for me, and I didn't really enjoy it. And then unfortunately, guys, this film is just very bland. There was no sense of urgency or emergency or suspense or anything. If the witches came back, the Sanderson sisters, and they wanted to take over Salem, I would have been like, so what? Who cares? You know, I'll just move on to the next town. And guys, this movie isn't horrible. I don't want you to think that it's trash or anything like that, or you'll want to wash your eyes out with bleach. No, that would be silly for me to say that, but I have to be honest, there is nothing special about this movie at all. I mean, it is extremely forgettable. There's nothing funny about it. I mean, it's just a movie with characters that we know from 1993 that are walking around on screen. I mean, there's just nothing special about it. I really didn't care for the characters. We have some like Miss Whitney Peak right here. I've never heard of her before, but she was fine in this movie, okay? She didn't do anything wrong, but she was fine. There was nothing that stood out about her. And this character right here, Sam Richardson, I've seen him in other properties before, like the Tomorrowland, I believe, that was on Amazon, and I liked him in that. And that was half of his character that I liked this movie, but the other half I didn't, with him being a sellout. And then we also have some other supporting characters with Belissa Escobedo and Lilia Buckingham, and also Freud Gutierrez. They're fine as well. There's just nothing special about them. I didn't like them, or did I hate them either. They are just there, but unfortunately, all of them are forgettable. It really does stink, because Hocus Pocus, the original that came out in '93, is a beloved property for a lot of people in multiple generations. People still during Halloween season dress up as these characters. And I will have to say that, while again, this movie is not horrible, it's just not good either, and it does not hold a candle to the original film by far. But if you go into the movie and you're watching it at home with low expectations, you still may have a good time. And of course, this is something that you can play while you're washing TV, washing dishes, cleaning the house, or you just need to take up some time with the kids to keep them distracted or something like that. If I had to rate this film, I'll give it at the very end of this review. But guys, that is just my opinion, and I want to thank you so much for tuning in. If you did enjoy this video, this review, my commentary, please go ahead and give me that thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, helping me reach my next milestone of 50,000 subscribers. And guys, if I had to rate Hocus Pocus 2 out of a 1 out of 10, I give it a 5.5 out of 10. Yes, a 5.5 out of 10, just rating it right there down the middle. But guys, again, I just want to thank you so much for tuning in. And before you go, don't forget that my name is Brandon Keith Avery, and that's just my opinion. Peace.